Today, I want to talk about the negative side effects of hidden feelings. When you like someone, when you feel attracted to them, or you could see yourself dating them, or anything like that, any romantic interest, you should always let them know. Because it may be like all fine and dandy when you just first develop a crush and you're like, oh, I don't really like them that much, so there's no point in telling them. The problem is, once feelings develop, they're going to get deeper and more intense. So the longer you go without telling them, not only is it going to get harder to tell them, but the outcome, like the negative side effects of not telling them, the pain it will bring is going to deepen. I was in a relationship or situationship where I never really told them what I felt. I wanted to be in a relationship with this person, like a real relationship, but I kept telling them that I didn't want a relationship, or I wasn't looking for a relationship, or I wasn't capable of a relationship. And then, like, even though in my head I knew I didn't want a relationship, they would echo my own words back to me. And so in my head, I'd think, oh, they're not ready for a relationship either, even though I knew I wanted a relationship. So we'll just keep doing this until we're both ready for a relationship. But the more time that went on, those hidden feelings of like me actually wanting to be in a relationship, me actually caring more than I let on, ended up building up to a point where it was just like unbearable. Like every time I was interacting with them, I felt anxious or upset. Like they would do the smallest thing and it would upset me because all these emotions that I had been burying down would come pouring out all at once. And it's just the more time that went on of me pushing down my feelings and what I really felt, not expressing them, not allowing myself to feel them, the more pain I found myself in. And I know I caused some pain for them too. Not that, like, they were kind of in the same boat because they never really told me how they really felt about anything either. We just didn't talk about our emotions ever. We talked about everything except that, pretty much. But their happiness is not my responsibility. My happiness is. And since I knew what I wanted, I should have gone and moved forward with that. And now I'm developing, like, I have somebody in my life who I'm really attracted to. Like, let me tell you, like, this person, we're not close, we're not friends, we're just acquaintances. But this person, I've never seen someone more attractive. I've never been more attracted to someone. The way he dresses is amazing. The way he smells is amazing. The way he does his beard, I've never seen a man with such a well taken care of beard. Like it's so sharp and perfect, but not too sharp. Like it's perfect. Like his eye, like he's just such a warm person, but he's also so calm and like collected. And this person, I'm really into him. And so now that I know I'm into him, I am planning on saying something to him and saying, like, I'd really like to talk to you more. I'd really like to go out with you and see how he feels. Because the thing is, yeah, he might say, I'm seeing someone, or I'm not into you like that, or I'm not interested. Okay, and so what? So what? That doesn't change anything about my life. It doesn't change anything about who I am. It doesn't change anything about my value. All it does is help me reroute to the next person who is going to be a good fit for me. And so it took me a while to come to this decision to like move forward and say something to him, but that's kind of why I'm talking about this now, because I've recently realized how important it is to address your emotions as soon as you feel them. And although on here I just talk about romantic advice and romantic situations, at least right now, you should know that it is beneficial in every shape and form of relationship to be honest about what you think. I have coworkers who don't tell me what they're really thinking, and I hear it secondhand from other people. And because of that, I haven't been able to learn certain things at the job because they haven't told me that I needed to learn it. I didn't even know it was something that I needed to learn because they weren't able to express it to me. Then I went and I talked to a different coworker, and she told me exactly what I needed to learn and work on. So I learned and I worked on it. It's that simple. Nobody is going to know what to do with your unspoken thoughts and feelings. We're not mind readers. Even people who are intuitive as fuck are not mind readers. They may know how you're feeling, they may guess why you're feeling that way, but it is not their job to figure out why you feel the way you're feeling or what to do about things you're thinking and feeling. If you are thinking and feeling something, you should address it. Be open. What's going to go wrong? You think the more people know about what you think and feel, the more they'll be able to manipulate you? No. The more open and clear you are, the more it exposes people who are trying to hide things. Because if you are completely open and clear and other people are not, then it shows they can't be open and clear with you. They're not able to match you, and you will notice that indiscrepancy, whatever that word is. You'll notice the difference. You'll notice that they're not matching you, and then you know they're hiding something from you. There is nothing that is going to harm you from being open and clear. You can only benefit from being clear and open. I'm going to say those words as many times as I need to for you to drill it into your head. You need to address what you feel. The longer you go without addressing how you're feeling, the longer you go without telling someone you like them, the harder it is later. Say you like someone who you shouldn't like. Maybe you like one of your friend's partners. Yeah? Maybe you like your friend's boyfriend or something. I wouldn't go and tell him you like him, but I would go and tell her that you're struggling with those emotions. Because, yeah, there may be problems, but the sooner you say it, the sooner you'll be able to get over it. Okay? Once you get it out, it dissipates. But when you hold something in, it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds until boom, you're exploding. That situationship I was talking about earlier, I really had like, I really in my mind, I saw him as like mine. Even though I had no right or claim to him or anything, it was just how I saw him in my mind. And then I found out there was another girl who liked him, who he knew her before me. And so I was on and off with this guy, to be clear. And so the first time we started talking, he stopped talking to this girl completely, but they were sort of talking before and they had like made out apparently before, but they hadn't gone further than that, according to her at least. And they had been talking before he knew me, but then, like before me and him started talking, but then when we started talking, he ghosted her. Then, a few months later, I wasn't satisfied, and so I told him I wanted to see other people and I couldn't see him anymore. And so I stopped seeing him. Then a month or so later, I was like, okay, I really miss him and nobody does it like he does. So I went back to him. This happened a couple times, no judgment here, but I went back to him later and this is when I met this girl later. And when I had like ended things with him, he went back and started talking to her again. I'm sure he went back and started talking to all his little like girls and everything. But I didn't know her at the time. I didn't know her until later because he actually recommended that I work at the place where she worked. He was just trying to help me and he knew they were hiring or something, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, so I was working there and I met this girl and we kind of lined up our stories and we realized like, well, what I realized about the situation is he was taking me more seriously than I had thought because I had always assumed like he was just talking to me while still talking to all these other girls or something. And I also realized that it bothered him more than he let on when I stopped talking to him because he didn't start talking to anyone until I ghosted him. But when I told him I didn't want to talk to him anymore, he didn't say anything. He's like, yeah, that's fine. Like, yeah, let's do it. That's fine. Like, he didn't speak up for his emotions. If he had said anything, just as simple, I don't want to stop talking to you, I wouldn't have left that first time. But he wasn't able to communicate that. And I was like trying to communicate, but I really didn't know how. Anyways, my point is when I found out about this girl, even though his reasons for like starting talking to her again were completely reasonable, I was pissed. All those emotions I had been pushing down and ignoring, all the things that had been like rubbing me the wrong way or upsetting me, boom, exploded on him. I said all this stuff like, I never want you to speak my name, like never want to I said something like, I never want you to breathe my name ever, like something like he wasn't allowed to ever talk about me again or speak, like I didn't even want him to say my name ever. Never talk to me, never talk about me. And I called him a coward and I said all this stuff. And he was really caught off guard. And then when I like kind of told him why I freaked out, it kind of made it worse because it was not okay. It was not acceptable. But I understand why that happened to me. I was dealing with so much pent up emotion that I just exploded. Like it just all came out of nowhere. And although I feel like really guilty for it, I find great value in what that showed me about myself. Because if I had just expressed all those little things all along the way, it wouldn't have happened like that. I wouldn't have exploded on him like that. So, yeah, that is one of the things that helped me realize just how important it is to share your thoughts and let people know how you're actually feeling about them. Like, he really showed me how important it is to communicate and be clear about what you need and expect and desire, because the whole situation with him was just miscommunication after miscommunication. Like, I don't have any hate for him. I do get upset at the situation from time to time because it still bothers me. I feel like you can probably tell I'm a little bit emotional even thinking about it because I've never really talked about this out loud like this. But at the end of the day, I know that I am stronger, I am wiser, I'm more aware, and by the time I get into my next relationship, not only will it be more stable, secure, and have a better foundation, but it's also going to be exactly what I've been looking for because now I know not only what I want, but how to communicate what I need. And that's something that I was missing before. Thinking about like this past relation, like look at my eyes. Like I feel like I'm like on the verge of crying, but not quite there. Just because thinking about this is just making me realize how much I let my needs go unmet. And it's never about the other person, but it's about the boundaries I didn't have set and the things I allowed in my life and the things I didn't allow myself to communicate because I thought it would be too much or it would give someone power over me. That was a huge thing for me, thinking that when you communicate how you feel, others are going to get power over you. And it's just not true. That's just not what happens. People don't get power over you because you let them know how they think and feel. You take up space when you let people know what you think and feel. You tell someone they like you, they either have to meet you or they don't. And then you know what to do. You can move on. They can't hold you in this maybe they like me, maybe they don't. No. Make everything very clear. Let everyone know exactly what you think. And those who don't like the way you think will fall away, and you probably won't like the way they think, so you don't want to deal with them anyways. Those who understand and agree with the way you think are going to get closer to you. And ultimately, that's the goal, to be surrounded by people who are like minded so that we can grow into the best versions of ourselves. Of course, like, don't keep people who are too like minded around because then they're going to keep you stagnant. But if you get it, you get it. I am on a time crunch, so I'm going to end this video here. I can go into this more in depth later and talk more about why it's important to let people know how you feel and let someone know if you're interested in them. But right now, I'm going to call it here. Thank you for watching my video. Love you. Bye.